I identify as a pansexual and I am also non binary. I don't really identify with the binary genders that already exist, and I don't like, even though my expression of gender is fluid in this interpretation, I still don't want to attach myself to a gender, so I also use the pronouns they, them, and yeah, that's me. This statement, I would say that my sexuality does define me to a certain point, but not as a whole. Because I would like to believe I have a lot of aspects to myself that cumulatively add to the definition of me. When a person has a preference and there's a possibility, whether it be 50-50 or 60-40 or 20-80, that they will end up with a person of the opposite gender and they might settle with that person and start a family, then they're conforming to the norm the society has already set. So the moment that happens, they completely negate the entire experiences of bisexual that bisexual person might have gone through, because once you're conforming to the norm, then that's who you are, that's what they think, right? But that's never the case. A bisexual person is still a bisexual person because the attraction to people of the same gender or to non-binary people, all this still exists. This attraction will still exist because it's something that they identify with. It's their sexual orientation. The sexual orientation isn't the relationships that they end up with, it's the person that they are, the people that they're attracted to, right? This is something that people don't get, and this is something that people need to kind of like understand, that bisexuality, like, you can't negate someone's experiences of bisexuality just because they might end up with a person of the opposite gender, because attraction, someone's sexual orientation never works that way. It has not been the best because though right now I'm in a position where I'm more comfortable with myself and my identity, and I have come out to certain people in my life who I trust and who I love and all that, there's also a section of people that I haven't come out to yet, my family, my relatives, and it becomes difficult for me to juggle my identity then, because I feel like it gets split into two at that moment, because in front of them I have to act a certain way, and it's not that I'm uncomfortable or I'm embarrassed of like my identity, but it's just that I don't know, I can't gauge how the reaction would be to me coming out, so I keep barring myself from actually saying it out loud, or like trying to ease them into the confession. I also think my dad might be more accepting because we have had a talk about the LGBTQ plus community multiple times. We've had multiple talks over it, and there was a point where he was talking about like how people should just accept them as they are because it's not their fault that they're this way. Like, how can you simply hate someone for loving who they are? So I think that gave me a little bit of a hope that I might be able to come out to them. Identity and LGBTQ plus, I don't really have a definitive answer because though I am from a religious family, I never inserted myself into that sort of religious lifestyle. So I may not be the best person to answer this, but from my perspective, from what I do know, I would like to believe that there is a God who would not spite someone for wanting to love who they love. Stability is something that's very important for me because I want to be in a position where I'm able to take care of myself. If worst case scenario, I do come out to my family or my relatives and they don't accept me as I am and they want to cut me off, I want to be in a position where I can like fall back and just like take care of myself and pick myself back up. And financial stability, having money, is like a way to go, and that's something that I'm actively working towards. Support system has been my friends, because growing up I did not have the best of support systems or the best of support from either from my family or the people I considered friends back then. I would struggle a lot with the issues that I was going through as a child because I didn't really have the best of childhoods. As I grew up and I reached the 11th standard, I found a really good friend who was also the first person I ever came out to, and she's been one of the most supportive, one of the most understanding people in my life, and has been one of the main reasons why I'm able to trust people, and seek people out. Another one is the musical group, the boy band BTS. It's been 3 years of actually seeking them for support, seeking them for solace whenever I'm struggling, because they came. I found out about them at a point in my life when I was like in a really bad place. I was struggling a lot, and having been introduced to them and their music and their artistry and the kind of message they send to their artistry, it has helped me a lot in being able to deal with the kind of issues that I have, because a lot of the messages that they put out, through their music, through their words, their speeches, whatever it may be, a lot of the messages that they believe in, that they would like, they want their audience to also think about, to reflect on, are messages that I resonate with, are personal, they feel personal to me. Guys, and the court ruling had come out that it had been deemed unconstitutional. I was really happy. Like, it was like straight up euphoria, like just coursing through me. And I was there, like I was in college, I was in class, and I was with my friends, and it was like something that I don't think I'll be able to explain the kind of happiness or joyousness I felt, but still remember that day, like my friends and I, three of us, four of us, we had decided that to go to this surprise Pride March that this one of the organizations, LGBTQ plus organizations, had organized, in order to celebrate this court ruling. And I remember going there with my friends and just like having a blast. Like, this may not seem like much, it's just one thing, in like this really long journey that we have in ensuring that the people from this community, the Indian LGBTQ plus community, feel safe in their own country. In 5 years, I would be happy if I'm actually at a point where I'm happy with myself. I'm also at a point where I'm doing something that I really want to do, which is art. And I also want to believe that it'll be freer for me to actually come out and have others accept me as I am. We have a long way to go as a society of how accepting we are of the LGBTQ plus community, and how incorporative we are of them, and how we can actually help them assimilate themselves into society without feeling like people are gonna judge them, or people are gonna spite them or ridicule them for being the way they are. Because like, even though Section 377 was scrapped, and that was a very monumentous period in our lives, a very huge step for the community, we still have a long way to go in terms of changing mindsets and old fashioned ways of life, and encouraging people to be more accepting, to be more loving and kind towards people from the LGBTQ plus community. There's still so much left to do, because we have to do as much as we can in order to like ensure that this community feels safe in society, in especially in conservative, like being brought up in Nagaland, being in a state like Nagaland where it's very conservative. I feel like we still have a very long way to go, as a country, as a state.